Here we are going to see why we keep different zones in differential protection and the purpose of zone deeply. Let us consider we have calculated and setted the full length impedance of the transmission line for protection. Did you think this will work good? It will work only in theoretical. But if we see in practical, we all know that properties of the conductor change due to temperature. Even the length of the transmission line changes slightly. On the other side, this impedance is going to calculate by getting the current value and voltage value from the CT and PT. Here, CT and PT has its own error tolerance. So, what could happen if we calculate for 100%? Definitely, it's going to be a mal operate. To avoid this, we are going for different area of coverage. First area, we are going to consider whatever be the climate or the instrumentation error, the protection should be in the line. That is, if the fault come, it should be in line. This is the first area we are going to consider. Now, see, did we protected 100% of our line? The answer is no. For protecting 100%, we are going for one more area. If our calculation part of 100% of the line exceeds also, it should be protected. So, we have to take this area should be covering overall. That is, we are making this area above the boundary of our protection line. This is the second area. Next, we need one more backup protection area, overall backup protection. So we are considering this third area. The first area is known as zone 1. The second area is known as zone 2. The third area is known as zone 3. So for the maximum coverage without mal operation for zone 1, 80 to 90% of the line length. Here, however, we have to choose this zone should be covering maximum, that is transmission line, whatever the condition may be. For choosing of zone 2, we have to consider the full length of our line plus addition of 20 to 30% of other line, so that if it is overlap also it can be protected. So we are considering 120 to 130% of our transmission line. Now we protected fully over the line, but in order to have some backup protection, that is when fault occurs in other line, if that line system fail to trip, then our relay should have to ready to trip for that. So we are taking this zone 3. This zone 3 should be coverage of other line completely. So we are taking more than 200%. We set at the zone, fine, good. But if we are not going to give proper tripping time, then there is no use in for all our workout. So we see now zone timing. For zone 1, we know that the fault is in my line. So if the relay sends zone 1, it has to trip by instantaneous. For zone 2, it may be on my line or other line. So we are not able to tell 100%ly. So we are giving this time of the relay little bit higher, that is 0.2 to 0.5 second. For zone 3, we know the fault is not in my line. So we are going to give little higher, maybe from 0.8 to 2 second. Here The transmission line is 100% of protected, but still having some disadvantage over the zone 2. If you see deeply on zone 2, the fault may occur on my line also, but we given time delay. How to overcome this disadvantage? My previous video, I have shown the transmission line layout and relay arrangement also. On that, each transmission line will have two relay. One will be on send end, other will be on receiving end. For send end relay, the transmission line is towards this direction, but for receiving end, the transmission line is toward this direction. My relay has zone 1, zone 2, zone 3 towards my line. Same way on receiving end, the relay will have zone 1, zone 2 and zone 3 towards opposite to me. Now we can see how it's going to protect my 100% of my line. Case 1. Let us consider the fault on my line which is below 80%. If we see here, in this case, for me it is zone 1 fault, and for my receiving end also it is zone 1 fault. Now I also tripped at 0 second and my opposite relay also tripped at 0 second. In this case, my line is protected 100%. Good. We can go for next case. In case 2, my fault is at zone 2 for me, but if you see the fault for receiving end, it is zone 1. So my opposite relay will trip and also send one signal to me. This is known as carrier signal. When my relay receive this carrier signal, and if my relay sends this zone 2 pickup, then my relay will not wait for zone 2 timing at all. It is going to trip immediately. See, it was tripped now, even though the relay detected zone 2. But using this kind of logic, I can protect my system 100% with quicker time. This type of production will come under carrier aided production. This is other topic, we can see it in other topic later. Now you all have full satisfied about your line and 100% protection. Good, but you may have still doubt on zone 2, which I am going to clear on case 3. In case 3, for my relay, the fault is at zone 2, so the relay is picked up in zone 2. My receiving end relay is not detected. My receiving end relay is not detected in zone 1 because the fault is in opposite with the relay, that is far away from the relay. It will not give carrier signal now, so it will not trip. So my relay will not going to trip like previous stage. It will wait for its timing. Once the fault is not clear, it will trip in zone 2. We can move to a next special case, case 4. You can see here the fault is for me in zone 2 and the fault occurs in the backside of the reversing end station. Once my relay forgot to trip, it is went for out of stage and other station relay also not working. Now we have to make some arrangement for this to make additional protection, so that only we are going for reverse zone, that is zone 4. Mostly the zone 4 covers 25 to 50% of transmission line. My opposite station relay got reverse zone, its timing will be very higher than zone 3 because it has to wait and see until any one of the relay is going to come forward and take responsibility to trip for this fault. So its timing is quite higher. If no one is going to take responsibility, then zone 4 is going to trip and protect the line. So zone 4 is also we can add in my station, it is good only, so that it will also check in the reverse by zone 4. Now my station is well protected. By this I am going to end this section. Here I have shown why we use all zone. Maybe you all understand well. If you think this video is useful for your friends, you can share this video to them. Thank you for watching this video.